皆さんこんにちは、アリです。私はイギリス人です。でも東京に住んでいます。日本に6年ぐらい住んでいます。でも日本語はちょっと上手じゃない。そしたら今日は英語を話せます。すみません。よろしくお願いします。
はい、アリさんよろしくお願いします。
Hello.
サムライフラッグのゆうきです。Okay, I want to ask you your introduction. Why did you come to Japan?
But I came to discover a culture that was very different to my own. I've always had some inexplicable interest in Japan specifically. I find even as a foreigner who had never lived in Japan, there was something very unique and special about Japanese culture. So I decided that this was the place that I would come only a short time, only a 7-month holiday. And it was so beautiful in Japan that I'm still here almost 6 years later. So in university, I had finished my exams and I thought, I'm going to come to Japan. I'm just going to go on holiday for 1 month. And I did the tourist things. I went to, Tokyo and Kyoto and climbed Mount Fuji and did the tourist things. But just that short period of time visiting made me understand how amazing this country is and how much more I had to discover, because I wanted to understand Japan on a level much deeper than just, eating sushi and climbing the mountain and things like that. I wanted to really feel the essence of Japanese.
So, Ari-san, 6 years are you living in Japan. So, why do you keep staying in Japan? Why do you like Japan?
I mean, there are so many reasons that I love living in Japan, but something that I would like to talk about today is the incredible healthcare system of Japan. I'd like to focus on that and just talk a little bit about differences in the healthcare system between my country, the UK, and in Japan.
What is a good point in Japanese medical healthcare system?
So something that was very different to my culture was the idea of doing an annual healthcare check. So the fact that companies in Japan encourage their employees to get a health check. It's such an incredible idea. It's really, really good. I wish that in my country we did the same. I think that's a really fantastic point about the Japanese healthcare system.
There's not a medical check time in the company in England?
No, I mean, now I think companies are encouraging their employees to do PCR checks, and there are times when schools or corporations organize people to get vaccinated for anything, but this system of the annual healthcare check, we just don't have that. It's more about the individual saying to the boss, excuse me, I won't be in work on Tuesday because I have like a health check. So we have to take the initiative. We have to make those checks for ourselves rather than our employers encouraging us to do so.
So are you working in the company?
Right now, no. I actually work for myself as a teacher. I've never personally had the opportunity to do a healthcare check from a company in Japan. It's more I go by myself. But still, the system is in place and it's really, really reassuring just for people to have peace of mind to go and get checked and understand, okay, I'm healthy, or okay, I need to make sure about this area more, or something like that.
Japanese medical expenses are cheap because Japanese people have health insurance. I researched on the internet in England, NHS, you know?
Yeah. So we have the NHS, the National Health Service.
Yes. NHS eligible users can basically receive the medical service without paying their own expenses or insurance premium at the hospital, right? I think there is a problem, like that medical institutions are always crowded.
That is
What do
true.
you
Yes,
think?
Yeah. Well, I will say, one fantastic thing about the UK is the NHS. These are doctors and nurses who just work so hard to support the health of the nation. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely a pressure on the national health system that, it's the biggest problem, I think, about the NHS is just that they don't have enough to give to everyone who needs it. So yeah, that is a problem.
Compared to Japan and England, so how about the price and quality? What do you think?
I'm sure that the pricing is fair, but it was a bit of a surprise to have to pay when you go to the doctor or pay when you go to the dentist. That's not really what we do in the UK. And actually, my hometown is in Wales, which is west of England. But yeah, if you go to the doctors in Wales, as a Welsh person, I didn't actually have to pay for the doctor or for any of the medicine that I was prescribed by the doctor. So it was a little bit surprising in Japan, after my appointment, they would charge me, so it was surprising. Even with my health insurance, they charged. But I do feel that the quality is fantastic of the doctors and dentists and anyone in the healthcare industry.
How about the doctors?
So another big difference, I think, between the UK and Japan is that in the UK we have a doctor, a general practitioner, we call it, a GP. And if we have a bad back or some skin problem or a cold, we go to the doctor, this one person. But in Japan, there's a doctor for the skin and a doctor for back pain and a doctor for, there's doctors for many different things.
Yes.
Which, yeah, that was a big surprise because I was like, why are there so many doctors, For me, actually, now, I really enjoy having a doctor for each thing because another reason that maybe in my country the NHS system is overwhelmed is because we expect one doctor to understand about skin and ears and everything, but in Japan, people focus on one area and they specialize in this area, and then it's so easy to help someone.
Yes.
If I have a skin problem, the skin doctor will just one look, oh, you have this, and give me medicine. So there's not like this time, it doesn't take so long, and it's not so difficult for the healthcare system to function well.
But I think England doctors are like a Superman. They understand everywhere the body.
I know.
Right?
They have to do so much.
Well, amazing.
Yeah.
But I think I could understand Japanese doctors' good points.
I'm very lucky that I'm quite healthy and I don't have so much experience going to hospitals or going to doctors. But the experience that I have had in Japan has been really great quality, and everyone I've met has been very kind and supportive. Like when you go to the doctor, you don't feel relaxed and good. Maybe you're a little bit nervous. I get so nervous about like blood tests and doctors and everything. So something that I've really appreciated about Japanese doctors and healthcare people is that they're very kind and very gentle, and they make me feel really reassured. I feel very safe, like I know in my heart that they will do a good job and they're not going to do work just to make money. Sometimes, I worry like with dentists especially. I think like maybe they say, oh, you need some expensive procedure, which I don't really need. And my dentist here in Japan, he's so lovely and he says, you're fine, like take care and you don't need any work, so see you next time. So there's just like that really nice supportive attitude.
Yes.
I feel like I always get a really good result from the dentist or the doctor here in Japan.
Japanese doctor can speak English and explain in English kindly.
Yeah, like many people in the healthcare industry have been able to speak English. Maybe they say, oh, I don't speak English well, but I can understand. But to be honest, I recognize that this is Japan and I want to make an effort to speak Japanese. I understand that, but I think it's really kind, like not just doctors, but so many people in Japan are really willing to speak English, even if they're nervous. Like they speak English to help me understand the situation. So in the doctors' areas, I feel like there's a good number of people who speak English or who studied in the US or UK. So yeah, that's definitely easier, to be honest, when I understand what's happening. But somehow it works even if they don't speak English.
I see.
I just have to relax and understand that it's safe, I'm safe with these people. So
do you have any good point of Japanese medical system?
I would say that one thing I really enjoy or I really appreciate about the Japanese healthcare system would be the timeliness. And I think this is sort of a general Japanese way, is that when you say 4:30, they mean 4:30. They don't mean please come at 4:30 and wait for 3 hours, So even if there are small delays in Japanese doctors' offices or hospitals, it's nothing like in the UK or in other countries. One time in the UK, I had an accident on the road and I bumped my head and I felt kind of dizzy, so I went to the hospital and I waited for 8 hours. Yeah.
8 hours.
So 8 hours is a long time to sit there worrying about whether you have some concussion or something. But here in Japan, I feel like you make an appointment and you go at your appointment time and it's very quick, And I think that has some relation to the fact that these doctors specialize in particular areas. So they know what they're talking about. They know what things are much more quickly and clearly than having one person to think about all the health issues that could possibly happen.
Many people from foreign countries told me Japanese things are on time.
Yeah, so on time. That's what I mean, not just doctor appointments, but also trains and people generally, So sometimes I ask Japanese people, how long does it take you to walk to your nearest station, for example? And in the UK, we'd say about 5 minutes, around 5 minutes. But in Japan, people say 7 minutes. And it's so people are so precise and clear. And I think, being on time is such a respectful thing and such a part of Japanese culture. So that is certainly something that I enjoy, because me personally, I was always someone that valued timeliness. So it's really nice to live in a world here which is all about being on time.
It's very interesting. So do you want to keep staying in Japan from now forever?
I want to get very good at Japanese, at my language skills, and yes, I would love to stay in Japan indefinitely. But we don't know, what the future holds. So that would be great if I could stay. But let's see what happens.
Wow. Okay. So I understand. So how you impressed in Japanese medical system? じゃあ皆さん、ご視聴ありがとうございました。アリさん YouTube チャンネルやられてますので、ぜひ皆さんすごいたくさん素敵なコンテンツ投稿されてますので、ぜひチャンネル登録お願いします。
Thank you everyone for watching my interview today. It was extremely fun and I really encourage you to subscribe to Samurai Flag and enjoy the fun contents there. Bye bye.
バイバイ。アリさんありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。